So I'm going to put the Zoom link. I'm going to put the Zoom link in the Facebook comments and YouTube. If you want to come in and talk, let's have a conversation. Here we go. All right. Okay. All right. So here goes the comment on Facebook. It's a link. Boom. If you want to come in, it's going to be 5 or 6 of us sitting around talking. That's what I'm envisioning. I'm nervous, and that's good. All right. Let me put it on YouTube. Let's see. Here we go. Paste. All right. So if anybody wants to come into the studio and have a discussion and talk about what's going on from the point that we don't know what's going on. Good day, Australia. Good day, Angela Craddy. All right. That music's for my friend Ty Hudnall. Okay. So whoever wants to come in, I put the Zoom link up in the YouTube chat and on Facebook on my page. You're welcome to come in and share space and see what happens. Because I don't think anybody knows what's really happening. Let me just put that out there. But yeah, I'd like to get like maybe 5, 6, 7 people up here and we'll talk about some things in a way that we'd never talked about it. I don't know what that is, but when we come together with that intention and that openness, we'll, figure it out. That's my hope. That's my belief. So if you're in the audience and you have a few minutes, you don't have to stay for an hour. Come on in. Let's talk. Let's see how transparent and how open we can be. Not that it means that we hung the moon, but just give it a shot. I'm going to try. I'm trying. I think we're all trying. All right, let's see. Probably the first time nobody shows up. Let's see. Take a pause. Hmm. Okay. All right. Well, let's see. All right. I guess maybe I'm supposed to talk to my by myself the whole time. All right. So I'm just going to do whatever. Let's see if this is even working. You don't hear me all right? Okay. Yeah, whoever wants to come in and talk about things on a very personal basis, where our most highest potential code is, where we bring the human front and center and talk about that within all of our multi-dimensionality. That's kind of where the space I'm looking at are looking for. I don't have the answers. Um, but if anybody wants to come in, we can have that, kind of conversation. And if not, I'll give it a shot and do my best to put what I can out there. I don't have the answers. I'm not throwing shade at anyone or anything, but I think the days of um, seeking outside of ourselves for answers are coming to an end really quick. Um, Anybody out there in YouTube, Tony Flicks, SM, want to come on, just click that link. Yeah, click that Zoom link and let's have a conversation, or I'll just keep going. But it seems like the signal's working better now. All right. Um, yeah, what's going on? Uh, how does it feel? Are you navigating things or are things navigating you? Is it emotional? Is it mental? How is it spiritual? Is it physical? Is the body talking? Um, what's the inner dialogue like? Are you being shown, am I being shown higher awareness in terms of judgment towards ourselves and towards others? I don't know about you, but are we entering a space where we have no idea how it works, but it feels good? Um, but we still have PTSD from the old world, so we're like on our, on our toes, on pins and needles at times as the energies expand. I'm just gonna do, I think, what we've always done, which is what brought us, part of what brought us all together, which is, hey, the commonality in our experiences, regardless of how weird they made us feel, um, in our personal journey, estrangement from family, things like that. We all have the same evolution kind of overall. And now we seem to be on the other side of something. Um, and I'm just, Morgan and I, we're just like in this new space. And I know a lot of people are there, and it doesn't make us better or worse than anybody else, but there's something about all of this intelligence. You can call it multidimensionality. You can call it greater awareness and presence with all the multi aspects of your human self. And we have it all available at all the time. And the more present we are, the more available it is. And as a result of that, it creates an atmosphere that's very powerful. That maybe that's heaven on earth, where everybody moves the way they want to move and energetically and literally being who they are without reservation and no impediments or no encroachment or no interference either way. Maybe that's where what we're landing in. Okay, so I'm going to put the call out again. If anybody wants to come in, yeah, that's a nervous laugh. Let me see, look at my phone. So the Zoom link is on the Facebook Messenger and the YouTube comments. Let me double check. And if not, I'll just keep on talking. Um, Let me say this. Let me go to YouTube and check. Um, let's see. Okay, let me say something a little strange. Okay, hang on. Let's see. 2020 was 5 years ago. We stuck in a weird time warp. How you been doing? Great. Have you been rapping? No. um, yeah, I forget what I was going to say. Um, there's so many different descriptions and narratives, so many different perspectives, so many different stories. And whether they were devised or created to create division and separation or not isn't the point. The point is we know that it's not. Everybody's love is the same, everybody's pain is the same, everybody's journey is the same from an energetic standpoint based on how their life has gone and what they've known in their life. There's elements and degrees to everything. I saw a video today on YouTube by a very I would say a very well known and very respected um, sister that's been around for I want to say 10 plus years, maybe 20, I don't know, you know, very respected, and listened to a little bit of it. And the host, he was a young man. He he was able to bring in that that human vibration and resonance meeting place. And I've not seen this woman too many times, but she's has a certain delivery. I mean, it's very unique and original to herself, and certainly very credible. But I watched her humanize, um, or watch the frequencies of the conversation, kind of bringing the human into it. And two things struck me. One was being able to see the transformation again on a platform that I haven't been involved in and have not come across too many times. And the other thing was everything she was saying from the ground zero, real time, like right now, right here, was exactly what we all say. And it dawned on me that the more that we do that, as mundane as it might seem, showing up in a place where we have no agenda, we have nothing to sell, we don't have the answers. We're wondering why we're even talking, but something is happening. And the more it makes sense, just like the other way around, like as in programming, the more what we focus on more is what's going to expand. And I don't know. I like the idea of sitting down with people and just talking to them about what's going on with them right now. Like, what do they think is happening right now? How is it happening for you? How is it happening for you? Does it come in waves? Is it in cycles? Because at the end of the day, all these cliches and pretty words and philosophical insights and uh, all that stuff is great and it's been part of our existence, but we're in another place now and nothing applies that applied before. What does apply is the fact that we do have access and we are connected to everything. So regardless of how the world goes, we have a path to choose and we have total um, command and choice over that. Okay, somebody popped in. Let's see what happened. All right, let's go. Anybody else wants to come in? YouTube and Facebook, the very first comment, just there's a Zoom link and come on in and let's get 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 people up here. And we can go for a while. We don't have any other shows. This is the 11th show of this new platform that has no name. And let's see what brother or sister is going to come in now. Thank you for coming in, whoever you are, in advance. Here we go. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's Susan. Susan Bornstein. Okay, here we go. All right. let's get this party started. Got 20 people on YouTube. I know we're way down in the algorithms, big time. So if you could, if it resonates, I have to get sound my phone right there. um, check. If it resonates, share to your page or to a group page or something that would help us out. Let's try to get this energy going out there, this new energy that we don't know what it is or what we're doing, but come together and see what happens and talk about things that maybe we've never talked about and talk in ways that maybe we've never talked about or in ways that we've never talked to. I don't know about everybody else, but it's been kind of interesting because as the distortion, which we all knew was going to get louder and louder in the worldwide perspective, has gotten louder and louder. There's been another thing running next to it, which is not to take that stuff so seriously or even look at it at all and stay in this weird place where, it's almost like we're swimming in the middle of an ocean and there's, or the middle of a void and there's no land and there's no landmarks and there's no nothing but just this vast sea. Susan, thank you for coming on. I didn't know it was going to take you 20 minutes. Oh, somebody else is here. Bridget Nosick. Okay, cool. Let's keep it going. Let's go. Let's see what happens. All right. Susan, I think you need to send bottom left on the screen. That little arrow next to the microphone, click it and then choose your devices. Okay, here's Bridget. All right. Hello, Bridget.
Hi, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I was just led to click on the link. So I don't know if I should be a panelist or an attendee and
You're a
start over.
panelist. You're a panelist because, and thank you for showing up because imagine doing like 7 to 10 minutes by yourself, waiting, hoping someone's going to come and trying to stay in that space that guided you to show up here and Susan.
Okay.
So yeah, to me, this is, I can't explain it, but
No,
I feel like my wife feels it. I mean, it's like to go into this space that we don't know anything. It's like stepping into the void consciously. It's like, okay, this is your world and you know enough of it to find your little comfort zone.
yes.
But let's all step into this black hole and
Oh,
like,
that's
oh,
perfect description.
yeah, like what's in there? I don't know. But yet it's in this conscious human potential or experience or the potential of the experience if we walk into it.
Yes. Well, I just woke up from a nap, so excuse my appearance.
So where do you live in the world?
I live in Connecticut in the United States.
Okay, cool. All right. I've been there. My biggest Uber ride ever. It's like 2016 or something like that. 2016, 17, 16. And I landed at the southern part of Connecticut from what, Long Island? Something like that, right?
We're
It was a
very close. That's very
yeah.
close to New York.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It was like a ferry, and then I had to go like $140 to my friend because I didn't have any other means. I didn't have cash. I just had, what people were supporting me with at the time. And I went to Hartford, Connecticut, or just past
Okay.
Hartford, Connecticut. Yeah.
Yes, that's a long ride.
Yeah. So thank you for coming in. And it's a pleasure to meet you. And if you don't want to answer anything to the depths, whatever you're comfortable with, and feel free to ask me questions. Okay. Because I'm here in the same place, the same way you are. I
Okay.
don't, I don't know what I'm doing here, why, but I just know I have to do it, and I'm just happy to have a playmate. Um, so how are you feeling? What's what was January like? Do you feel like you're losing your mind? Anything happening in your body? Uh, does the world make sense? And where do you
Um,
stand? Where do you stand?
things aren't making a lot of sense right now, but last year was just a tough year for me health wise, nothing serious, just a lot of fatigue and trying to figure that out. So January, I came in here fresh, hoping for some changes, and it seems like there's a lot going on. And I'm not a political person at all. So I'm just kind of watching from the sides
Yeah.
or the wings, I should say, even though
Yeah.
that can mean more than one thing.
Well, um, yeah, I think that's part of what I was saying earlier before you came. When I was trying to, I guess in a way I was trying to be or being transparent and vulnerable. And we know that that's when this stream starts to come through. But I was just saying how even given the the level of separation and division that's coming from all these different places, to include that, um, you might say the political changes or whatever you want to call it in America, which is affecting the whole world. Um, it just doesn't feel like, um, I don't want to say important, but if it's between what we find ourselves in right now with Susan, this space of I don't know why I'm here, but I just have to be here. I don't have an agenda, et cetera, et cetera. If it's between this and that, I'm here. And
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? I feel like it's falling away as quick as we stop judging it, right?
That's what I'm hoping because I think that is why I'm here because I don't follow politics, but there's all sorts of warnings and everywhere. And everything I read, I can see both sides of everything. I've been like that since a child. I have, deep feelings that are my own, but they are just my own and their opinions. So I'm constantly listening to everyone. And when I feel a little bit of fear when somebody is speaking something, I've now learned because I've been on this path for a while that I should just observe that and not feel the fear and look for more information. But right now, there's just too much information. And so I'm here, hoping to learn some truth. And I think that the truth I'm looking for is maybe not earthbound. And I'm not one of these woo-woo people. I mean, maybe I am.
Mm.
I'm pretty mainstream, but I'm just looking for something other than what I'm seeing on Facebook right now and the two sides screaming. Like I'm hearing ringing in
Oh,
my
wow.
ears right
Yeah.
now.
Hey, you know what? This is a great lead in. Thank you for helping me to relax a little bit. I swear, my heart's racing and it's that level of like, when you're like in kindergarten or first grade and you got to stand up in front of the crowd. Don't leave, Susan. I'm segueing into you. Uh, where you've got to give like a speech or something like that. Rick Jewers is coming in. He's going to be here too. But back to what you broke open to here, right?
Yes.
Um, yes, nothing out there seems to be sticking, including that which helped us wake up was a part of us, to include Sology, not to take anything away or say that anything has disappeared, but it's not giving it to us anymore. There's
Hmm.
something else going on. I can't think of anything else other than um, this, like showing up, the three of us and going, "Hey, what's going on?" I don't know. Okay, Susan. Okay, Susan, over to you. Rick's coming in, and we'll go to you and then Rick.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just called in because I'm miserable, man. I am really miserable.
What do you mean?
I spent last night going through every insecurity, every bad feeling I've ever had in my whole life. I went through
Uh-huh.
last night all at the same time. It all take me back to this space like who cares? You're here now is like the only thing that you and I went back to meditating just to get quiet, just to get calm. And and I cry and I panic and I'm a freaking mess, man. Um yeah. The interesting side of it is when but I'm not calm anymore, is
Uh-huh.
my dad's story, which is just oh my God, I understand now what he said, and it's just happening the way he said. On the other hand, it opens up to the great, magnificent unknown of, so yeah, I guess I'm scared, scares me. He said it was magnificent. Why would I be scared? I'm scared.
So let me get you right there. Let me corral you in for a second. Let me rope you in. Then we're going to go to Rick after you give us something with what I'm about to ask you. So, for those who don't know, Susan's family is very special. And we're talking about memories of more than one of them going to ships when they were young and for many, many years, et cetera, et cetera. Her father transitioned in the physical world many years ago and still has been her guide. So, my question, just so they can understand, um, my question is, what are his latest transmissions? Are you referring to the things he's been telling you the whole time? And if that's the case, do you feel like the time that he was talking about, neither regard, is now?
Okay. Yeah, now. Okay, wait 1 second. I have to answer the door. I'll be right back. Hi. Can you come back in like 10 minutes?
Yeah, no problem. No
Okay,
problem at all.
I'll be-
I'll work with the neighbors.
Thank you. Yeah, now. It's now. His story was all this happened in 1920. The Earth released humanity's inverted contract then, and he was part of a canopy kind of thing.
Yeah.
Protect us, and we got 100 years grace to be insane and get stronger. And the 100 years is way up. 1925, it's 2025. And yeah, it's just like it's
What's
just
what's
all
a, what's a,
it's
what's
the
the
end of
very
government.
latest intel? Yeah, of course. Yes. I get it. Yes. There's a bit of a lag. I'm sorry. But
Okay.
last thing, what's the last thing or the latest thing he's told you in a nutshell?
I don't know. He's just like he'll answer stupid questions now because I'm an emotional mess, and he's just telling me he'll just sit here with me and just get through it because this is it.
I love
This
it.
is it. Right.
I love it. Okay, let's go to Brother Rick. All right, thank you. We'll come back. We're going to go to Rick and then to Bridget. Rick, you want to unmute? I'm going to mute you, Susan. Boom. Okay. All right. Rick. Okay, good to see you, brother. You're in Romania. Uh, we spent a lot of time over the years doing work together. You've got your beloved over there with you and vice versa over here. You know, as long as we're diving into new waters, a lot of people know you, Rick, and they know people like you. I know what I've gone through and what Morgan's gone through. And I know that in the individuals and in the couple, there's a commitment to serving the collective to the same degree we serve our partners and ourselves. Yet, by all accounts, channeled in those physical incarnations that have shared with us over the years, this is the toughest MF we've ever done. This is like the biggest university, the biggest playground, the biggest challenge we've ever set up. How do you ever have to take a moment just to be with Rick, that aspect of you? Does that happen very often? Do you ever just say, man, what the hell's going on? But yeah, I mean, do you, for people that know you and certainly love and appreciate you, do you ever have those type of thoughts? You might say the human thoughts.
Yeah, I do. And thank you, Todd, for allowing me to be on here. Yeah, but there is no other way than going forward. And, it's with that strict devotion to get it done. But, as you're saying, it's like obstacle after obstacle uh, that that arises with, what I call this overall great awakening and transitioning and ascension. And, ideally, I had anticipated from the human Rick, this would have been all done several years ago. yet here we are, and again, there is no way but going forward and mastering all of the obstacles. So there is no other choice. As we know that, we try to turn away from it at times to take times for ourselves, like you have done, Todd, and also myself. But no, we're divinely taken by the ear and brought back, to this selfless mission. So that's where I'm at. And, I do know that we have already persevered and that we did win. And, we're just materially manifesting it into this reality is what it's about. But boy, it's been
Brother,
a tedious job.
brother, I really resonate with that whole thing that you said and the way you winded it down. And I can't really, ask this question perfectly. So I can kind of build a metaphor to it of my own, the way I have gone through it and how I kind of feel. And if if we go back to, and I know it's different for different people, but let's say 2012 to 2024, so many of us, all of us, not only had this awakening, but we had this call, this role to fulfill. And it was paramount every day, no matter our relationships and connections, and if we had a place to, sleep with a roof over our head or we didn't, and, so on and so on and so on. There's so much we could go into. I almost feel like we're having a do-over, like say 2012 is 2025, but yet there's little or no resistance anymore. We're like you said in your own way, we've done it. And it's almost like the PTSD or the echoes of being a human and like, oh my God, is the shoe going to drop? It's a humility that comes every day from, at first, from like, oh my God, I just need to chill out. But secondly, it comes from, oh my God, we did that. So I don't know if that makes sense to you, but when you say what you said, do you feel like energetically we've done it and it really is just going to play out now in the physical and we'll become more and more aware of that?
Absolutely. What's occurring is there's subsequent waves, if you will, of the Great Awakening of Ascension. And what's occurring, you do have a vanguard, the pioneers, that are on the front lines. But what's occurring is as the subsequent waves awaken, um, began their awakening, we are kind of like called back into that physical area to assist and bring them forward as well. And, it's not to say that it's a hierarchy, but there is that vanguard and it is there. And this is why we find ourselves kind of like looping back into the old. And with the
Yeah.
physical symptoms, I've went through all of these physical symptoms prior to 2012, and we were coming along fine with the crystalline process of the body. As we know, it's very real. Your skin illuminates and all of that great things. However, recently, with all of this extensive density and pressure, Femke and I both feel it on our physical vessels. We're in it with all of the rest that are feeling it, and to take the others forward through it again. And this is the selfless aspect that we have signed ourselves in, if you will, with this ascension to accommodate this transition, not for ourselves, but for all of the subsequent waves.
Yep.
Now, ideally, the last bit of information I've been getting the last couple days is that we are very close. However, how many times have we heard that? Are we close to taking this wave fully forward? And then I don't believe we regress any farther when I do an evaluation of our regression in the last month or two with these physical symptoms. I don't think we can go any
there's
lower.
no, yeah, there's no regression.
Yeah, exactly.
We're in some kind of pattern, ascending pattern, waves, vibration, sound, whatever. Yeah, it's like, it's like any of us getting nudged. When you got nudged, when I got nudged, when these ladies got nudged, you can't go back. It's like you can go back there if you want to. Um, I want to ask everybody, and I'll go to Bridget, then Susan, and Rick. Just not for the purpose of how we do things and what works and this and that. I really believe there's code in the way that we've been able to navigate and facilitate ourselves. So I would say to Bridget, then Susan and Rick, how would you describe the way that you experienced and or brought into alignment these energies that keep coming in cyclically and more powerfully? Was it a mostly a mental kind of experience, emotional kind of experience, physical, all of the above? Or was it outside of your body in the multidimensional field? Here, let's unmute you. Oh, there you go.
Again, I'm feeling as though I'm still the student. I feel very uncomfortable being here as a panelist because I'm very quiet about what I feel and what I think I know and what I'm going through. Um, and I don't express myself well communicating with language. So I can only speak to what I myself, Bridget, feel and then how it shows to others. I know that I am evolving and there is this great awakening. I'm aware of things, but can't express what it is that I know. So I don't even know how to answer the question. And again, I'm shaking and feeling like, oh, I should not have jumped onto this panelist. I should be an attendee. Um, but I will tell you, the fatigue that I felt in the last year has been the heaviest I've had in my life, and it turned into a bit of depression, just a mild depression throughout my life. And I've been focusing on my whole body, emotional, heart, and I'm feeding myself with my crystals again. So I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm connecting to earth, but in my house through the crystals because it's too
Yeah.
cold. There's snow outside.
Well, I think that's what I was getting at. It's almost like it's not, it's I've always believed that the downloads we all receive and we all receive them. And many of us have been guided to share them, right? And we want to share it. Like when you wake up, you want to tell everybody, "Oh my God, it's not what you think." But maybe in you know, in the telling, like you just said, I don't know if this explains it well. I don't think it's a traditional way of communicating or explaining or defining. I think it's your openness, our openness, Rick's openness, Susan's. That's actually, you might say, at the heart space.
Yes.
That's actually carrying the code, and none of us can explain it. So let me jump to, thank you, Bridget. Let me jump to Susan. Kind of make two questions as we segue over to Rick. So she she really gave an explanation to me. I would kind of like capture it all in one. It's feeling. It's not feelings, although that's part of it. It's feeling, like really feeling things. You might say that's allowing it to be merged or allowing it to be recognized and acknowledged. I've known you for a long time, Morgan and I, and I've met you on more than one occasion, I think, right? And I've seen how radical the change has been from a person that was already way up here when we first started doing these shows, and we were all catching up to you. how intense has it been in terms of the acceleration of the frequencies the last couple of months for you? And how has that affected your ability to just be a human being and be Susan Bornstein? Gotta unmute you. Boom. Unmute.
The first question about cycles.
Yeah.
It's like, I went through this when I was 10. I went through this when I was 87 was like a really big, but yes, yeah, and it keeps going back when I was really young, and I sitting there waiting for this new age to happen, and it's 1963, and nothing is happening, and I get very depressed and very upset and very crazy. So it's been like cycled my whole life just over and over, and I had this the day of the inauguration. I had this thing that maybe like the depression I felt when I was 20 and 30, and it was always like time collapsing to this one moment that's already happened, when, yeah, it just repeats itself. In the last couple months, yeah, well, all day, yeah, and it's everywhere and it's everyone. And if my dad said anything to me, oh, there's one other thing I wanted to say about what to do. It would be, he said, stay close to the multidimensional, make that very real, weave that into
Yeah.
your whatever, yourself.
Yeah.
But the thing is about creating, that what's going to happen is a collective creation, and we don't have much experience over the last 25,000 years of that because we dreamed separation and in individuals. And it's a whole collective unifies and creates, it's a whole different process.
Mm.
And that's why it's so baffling. We don't know what we're doing. We haven't done it in a very, 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 very long time. And we don't
Yeah.
remember what it was like to make an ocean that people see like out of the elements. Like we were part of that. That ocean is partly looks like that because we played with it. And we don't remember what that was like,
Yeah.
that collective
Yeah.
creation thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank Kim. As we move into Rick. Wow, that was great. So as much as, I remember, Rick, and maybe you can relate to this, but I can remember in 2012 when I first was guided to come out onto social media. And one of the things that I would say over and over was, I am not a human being. I am soul. You know what I mean? And I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't trashing the human being, but I was distancing myself from the experience I'd had as a human being, right? And I was, you might even say, bypassing. That's the way I see it for myself, as I went through it myself and self-reflected, and what we all do, transmute, transform. But I can honestly say, even in the last 2 months, even in the last 2 weeks, which I think have been very intense for all of us, in the best of ways, I have never received a greater download, intel, epiphany, or revelation than when my human awareness comes into the same understanding and awareness and voice of my soul. And it's both embarrassing, humbling, pride comes in, respect and honor and love, and laughs, really. But again, you've been such a prominent lamppost on the path. And that conviction that you've had cannot be mistaken for anything but pure intention. And I think that's really where the rubber meets the road. That's really what's come through in everybody that's put it out there. But in terms of like I know your wake up experience, but let's just say even in the last couple of months or a few months, have there been times, or has there been a time where you have felt or experienced Rick Jewers, the human being, the humanoid, to the bone, but you don't feel it the way you normally feel it. Like, what's going on? Hey, hurry! Like you said earlier, you thought Rick Jewers, a human, thought it would be over by now. But have you had these experiences where you've kind of been standing alone as your human aspect to be given the potential to see the code that it may offer that we've overseen?
Um, Let me see how I would answer that. Let me say, for at least a few moments over the last few months, perhaps dozens of times, that yeah, I will just momentarily go into that human thing, like, how great it would be if I was in British Columbia, free again in the mountains. But very quickly, no, you shake your
I
head,
get you, bro. I get you totally, man. Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So no, and then I come back and very quickly and said, no, it's all about the soul and the mission which is here. And again, we can't turn away from it. But with
Yeah.
all of the energy, yeah, that we have been feeling, this has been unprecedented for I since 2012.
Yeah.
But at least our conscious awareness is still here to know that we are transmuting, if you will, for a collective or what have you. Because when you have these feelings, you know you've already done that. So you quickly apply the remedy. If it's with Femke and I, the remedy is applied the solution, which then is the transmuting of the energy, and we raise up again. So, generally, Femke and I usually keep on a high energetic level, vibrating and generating that certain frequency out there. It's what we divinely do as ascension guides and teachers and purveyors. But what I am saying is there were times we had to take days off in the last couple months, and this has been unprecedented, since 2012. So that's how dense it's really been. But
Yeah.
the beauty of it is what's occurring is the subsequent waves are so big, and when they go in depression they generate a huge density. But we know this is the dark night of the soul before they all join us up here, and the great awakening expands even further. So it is the process with it. And yeah, ideally we like to have it all done, but the
I
truth
don't
of
think
the
that we
matter,
do.
yeah,
I don't
there
think that we,
there is no
no.
free will,
If
that
you, okay,
from the
each,
human.
okay, let's do a test. Let's do a test. The four of us openly, because we can all do this. Let's remove Rick, Todd, Bridget, and Susan. Let's tap into our soul and find out if our soul wants to get done with it. I'm serious. No, I get what Rick's saying. We've all said it. But something tells me that something amazing is happening. All of our narratives are going to fall. All of our identities are going to fall that haven't fallen already. We're in love, and we should be, with Todd, with Rick, with Bridget, with Susan, our playmates, the world, being human. It's not us. It's not, but it's on point. And there's something about this. It's not just this life, series and series and series and series of incarnations in the human experiment or experience that has some real gold. Now, before we get out of here, I'm not saying we have to end after this, because I'm welcoming anyone else that wants to come on. We can keep on going for a couple more hours, whatever. But I'd like to find out something that I don't have the answer to, um, and see if it resonates. So I'll ask Bridget and then Susan and Rick. I feel like that the emotional quotient, the emotional makeup, the emotional diversity, the range of the human aspect of our multidimensionality is both the most excruciating roller coaster ride we've ever taken, but now I feel there's something to this greater balance that we brought to ourselves and share with each other each and every day as days go on. Do you feel like, on a personal level, and I'll go after Rick, I guess, that your emotions are becoming a singular voice, that there's something to this, I don't want to say happy medium, but this balance? And what I find strange is kind of the second part of the question, is the standard emotions that come up as I move into this higher and higher space of a balanced emotion are divine love. It makes me feel like I don't care. Somebody transitions and I'm like, I do feel compassion, but I also know it's illusional. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I know that's a weird way to put it, but Bridget, if you would answer first, and then Susan, then Rick, I'd appreciate it.
Well, I'm not quite sure of the question, other than what came as you were speaking is, my heart has been open for a long time to give, and because I truly know that all is love. And I hate using words that people repeat over and over again, but when people would ask me questions, I would say the answer really is love. We keep taking sides, and I don't mean the government, I mean even person to person. And what I realized was I was depleting myself because I was sharing what I felt was the love for me to others. And what is grounding me now, and I'm just turned 56, is knowing that the love that I've been giving to everyone else, I have to give to myself, not just for my own survival, but in order to spread it to the world. So if that is truly the answer, that love is the answer to all, then why are you not loving yourself? And the only way I was able to do that, and this was just through talk therapy, was to literally take my child, my inner child, but literally I could picture myself as a 4-year-old in the apartment that I grew up in, and separate her out from myself, and then say, you deserve all the love in the world, all the love that I would give to all beings, and ask that they give. So that is how I'm managing my emotions, by just loving every one of them, even when it's sadness or fatigue, which is not an emotion, but it does trigger emotion in me. It makes me sad because I want to get out there and do all these wonderful things, but then I'm closing myself up because I'm tired. So that probably didn't answer your question.
Yeah. No, that was a good answer. It kind of like okay, let me surmise it. I'm not really sure what I'm doing or how I'm doing it or what I'm doing, but there's a part of this that I'm good. And it doesn't mean that I'm walking on water. It means that, at the center of this experience, these experiences and streams, I'm better and better and better. And it's not just because I said that or I try to make you believe that. It's actually apparent in your energy. So it's less the words and more, because I think the eloquence and the verbalization will come
Mm.
one way or another. But yeah, so I'm so happy that you joined us today. I forgot what the original question was because she just blew it out of the water. But Susan, do you feel like that? Because I've always had this thing for years, for 13 years, is okay. All this information's great, but I'm here to have this incarnation as taught and be present, and that's hard enough, and certainly was 12 years ago, right? Um, So I should be, in a sense, maximizing the experience I'm having, regardless at the level and the frequency of the downloads and intel coming in 2025. Do you, and also understand too, with the many people we've talked to and that know you and have watched some of the stuff we've done over the years, you're very galactic. You've obviously been a very unique situation. Do you
Where'd you go? You grounded. Hello?
all of the multi-dimensionality, both of the human and that part out there? Can you hear me? Good. Did you hear me?
No, no, it froze. Figures.
Okay, forget everything I said and just tell us how you're doing at from the level of the human aspect with all the streams that are coming in real time as you function through life, and then we'll go to Rick.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Yeah, you frozen. I didn't hear the whole question, but my big trauma when I was a kid, which is not a trauma anymore, but was like, and it was a interstellar order edict that you only reveal down here so much. So my dad would just like tell everybody everything, and my mom would scream, "Shut up!" And then if I talked about any of my experiences, she was violent, vicious, controlling, and you couldn't admit to your inner life in the outer world. And so and more now I do it, I can, and with other people do some incredible interdimensional, blissful, lovely, amazing, surprising things. And still there's that fear from my mom screaming at me, or maybe because it was once, don't tell, don't tell. I don't think it's anymore. I mean, at this point, if you say something that's really too hard for people to hear, they won't hear you. You know, it's like, it's not a big deal. But yeah, so I still have that fear that, or like, I shouldn't have come on and I shouldn't be speaking. Once I got up in front of a group of people and said something about what my dad said about being light, and I came home and these voices, God knows where they came from, just, you should have never said anything, don't ever say anything again. And they're all yelling at me and they're not real. And so there's still that fear of coming out. Meanwhile, the whole world is opening up. So what difference does it make? That's my emotional conflict, but
That was
I'll
like
get
a,
through it.
that was like a, that was like a cosmic, multidimensional, hyper evolutionary, what do you call it? Not
Neurosis?
a paradigm. No, the it's like a maze. It's like a
No,
maze, but it's what do you call those things? Damn, I can't believe I forgot what that is. Huh?
labyrinth?
Labyrinth?
Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Labyrinth, yeah. Okay, we've got another sister coming in. I've seen her out there for many years, but we're going to go to Rick first. Let me think of something good to talk with Rick about, because Rick's got so much to offer, and we've seen Rick, and that's what I'm saying. And Rick's not the only one. I could name a lot of people, but we've seen them with their lunch bucket coming to work every day, day after day after day after day after day. And I think one of the things that's happening for all of us is we're all being brought to the same place, even though it's not a plateau. It might be a plateau that's moving collectively together, right? Um, where we're basically seeing, you might put it this way metaphorically, but we're seeing more and more of ourselves in each other, and we're realizing that they're just people too. And I mean that in the highest respect. They're souls too, having a physical incarnation. Um, so Rick, everything that you've done for the last 12 years and all that, and I know your story. Hung's told me a lot about your early years, which I didn't know. Um, but everything we've all experienced with you, I've experienced with you. I can remember a show we did a few years ago where there was a whole bunch of controversy and stuff like that, and the way you handle it, which was so class. It really was. But in terms of what you said at the beginning, which was my human Rick would have thought it would be over by now. And then taking into account everything else right up to this point in time, how do you think we're doing? Do you feel that the proverbial heaven on earth will occur in the near future. And what I mean by that is a level of frequency and experience that comes together that we're all in a greater and greater state of grace and gratitude just because of the obviousness of it. Where do you think we're at, and etc.? Oops.
Yeah, thank you. It's inevitable, and we are very close. Yes, everything cannot continue as it is out there, and the as I said, the waves are getting bigger and bigger of awakening, and yeah, I don't feel it's too much longer. And also, the possibility of the flashpoint where reality can reset is still a distinct possibility. And for those that have multi-dimensional experiences that actually experience the physics to go into it, we know how real it is, that it is very tangible, very real, and we can transition into that very quickly. So the answer is, again, yeah, we cannot be too far from it. And when you look at everything as energy, when you see great joy upon the planet by the masses, that is a catapulsion, if you will, if that's a word, into the fifth dimensional state or higher. And again, it's all of these good things, the virtuous actions, emotions, and letting go of all the fear based emotions, and just keeping the positive polarity emotions and actions and deeds. But the great beauty, just one little thing, is that we don't need all of the masses on earth aligned with the one little thing. I love using the analogy where an enlightened one affects a million. And if you do the quick math on that, to affect 8 billion on the planet, it means you only need 8,000 of these together. So I like looking at the smaller numbers. And, as we go forward with this great awakening in that unity, it is occurring. And I like to say it's occurring exponentially. And what we've just recently seen with more indicators, what I received from Japan the other day, more of them are awakening. So there's always these macro indicators or micro indicators of the macro.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And more as it's happening, right? I mean, like,
Yeah.
and if you look back even the last 6 weeks, 7 weeks, you've got drones, UAPs, UFOs, fires, earthquakes, hurricanes. It's like an acceleration of the spiral. And at the same time, everything that brought us all together by all points of perspective seems to be coming to fruition. It's almost like
It's
we
the
want to pinch
belief.
ourselves. It's almost like we want to pinch ourselves and say, oh my God, we actually did it. Because I mean, we still have that human condition, and as we've all kind of talked about, we have our weak moments. Kylie Walter, I came on like in 2012, and I can remember seeing you in the neighborhood, so to speak, for many, many, many years. Thank you for coming in and sharing space with all of us. I don't have a question for you. I think since you came in as the fifth wheel, why don't you unmute and let's hear what you want to share with us. Oh, I guess Rick left. Rick leave.
I was just going to say, I was just finding my unmute button, but thanks so much for holding these, Todd. As you said, I've been watching for years. Don't know how to label. I don't have any labels. I'm a medium. I feel the energies. 2012 was, it just blew absolutely everything out of the water. I do remember picking up on energies and hiding from ghosts and things. When I was a child, I lost my mother early, so I had to grow up really, really fast. So I lost a lot of that sensitivity. But 2004, as an adult, I came back into my extrasensories. Of course, they started to come in, the ghosts started to come back. Um, but what you guys have been talking about today, Susan, you're feeling all of the, um, all of the real emotional side of things. You're losing yourself in all of that emotion. Bridget, you're a sideliner, so you say, like you're seeing things from outside. Where me, I'm one of the quiet ones, as Todd has known. I've never actually sort of got on. I do comment a fair bit, but uh, sharing it with others, that is sometimes one of the hardest parts, because one thing you see out there, there's people that aren't ready. They don't want to know. Other times when you do come across someone, you feel the excitement, but it's short-lived. But these communities online, you feel like you're connected, but you're still alone at the same time. Um, I can't tell you how much appreciation I have for you, especially Todd, because you've brought that many people together in a way where we can connect with them. And we've connected with you the whole time, you and Morgan.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it's
Yeah. It's
so much of what we're going through is so hard to put into words.
yeah, it really is. It
Mm.
really is.
So
Yeah.
really, when you're trying to share it with others and not being able to find the word, like the right human words, I've never really felt human all my life, I think, if I recall.
I'm
But
I'm thinking about that.
yeah,
That's a
I've always seen things from a higher perspective or a different perspective.
yeah. It's almost like another way to say it would be, I know this isn't it.
Yeah,
This
you
is
know
not
there's
all of
more.
it. Yeah.
You know there's more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not it's like this isn't all of it. I don't know. It's like you said, I mean, all of us have been saying it's very difficult to speak to what this is.
Mm.
And I think when I went on the other day, when somebody canceled, I was saying that I don't know what it is, but I know what it is in terms of a space that we enter together, which means, to me anyway, might be different for others, but um, I don't know anything. I
Mm.
don't know what we're supposed to talk about. I don't know.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's almost like that thing that you started hearing a couple of years ago when things started to move real fast and people would say, "Oh my God, I'm getting all these downloads." And you'd be like, "What was it?" Even if you
Mm.
were talking to yourself, and it'd be like, "I don't remember, but I know
Yeah.
I'll have it when I need it."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
There's
that
a there's a
kind of, yeah.
there is another community that I've been following a lot for a long, long time. It's the Ascension Light Worker, like the Light Worker
Mm,
Ascension
mm,
or Ascension Light Workers, whatever it is. But
mm.
every single time that there's a big wave or something that comes in, you feel it yourself.
Yeah,
And then the next second you'll jump online and you'll think, holy shit. It's almost like they're talking out like
right,
about
right.
you, like what you have just
Yeah,
experienced or
like
what you
yeah.
continue to experience. Yeah.
Yeah, like the collective intelligence, beehive intelligence, if you will, is available to everybody at the time the first one gets it.
Mm,
And what you said earlier, and not because we were involved, and not because it's solo or was Sology or is Sology, whatever. Um, the one thing I always really got excited about and marveled at was in those spaces, be they a Soul Speak show or something like this, an open mic or whatever it might be, or anything that
mm,
came off of that. Because many
mm,
people replicated it in their own originality, right? And that is to show up in a place where there is no doctrine, there is no dogma, there is no particular modality, there is nothing but, you know what? The further I get down the road here, the less I know.
Yeah,
Yet, some weird way, the more I know. And
yeah,
something's going on, which I've heard a lot of people more than ever talking about surrendering and letting go. And even though the words have been the same, you can feel the depth of it.
yeah.
Like it's like you almost like wash your hands and say, it's like the deepest humility. Something like, yes, kill me because I know I'll be born again. Something like that.
Yes.
Bridget,
I,
let's go ahead. Go ahead, Colin. Go
I
ahead.
was just going to say, the more and more people that connect with it, and the more and more that we can share with each other, I think it does make it easier because we're identifying things in ourselves. So, I mean,
Yeah.
communities, whether it's where you live, like I'm in the snowy mountains in Australia, so I'm in a small town called Tumbarumba. Um, there are
Uh-huh.
a lot of people that are awake. There are a lot of people that still, keep things to themselves. They just go ahead with their daily life, but getting together with people, they get excited about it. It goes for a little while and then it burns out. Um, but it is what it is. You can't force people to, see things the way you see it or feel things the way you feel them. It is what it is. And I've always felt such a privilege when people do come into my circle to be able to share what I can share
Yeah.
if they're open to listen.
And if they're not, they're not. You
That's
know what I
fine
mean?
too. That's fine
Um,
too. There's no judgment to it.
yeah, that's a good segue. Okay. I think we can
Mm.
go at least one more round. Okay. Um, so I'm gonna go to Bridget and then Susan, then back to Kylie. I'm gonna mute you, Kylie. Um, so Bridget, have you found yourself um at greater levels of humility and non-judgment um as you have re-experienced these energies we often call a spiral, you know what I mean? um but have you seen that within yourself, and have you seen anything come from it um when you're able to go through things that we've gone through before but making a different choice? Does that make sense?
Um, it does. I think I'm worrying less about those people who, because you say non-judgment. I truly have been working on not being judgmental, although I don't believe I ever really was, but I was judgmental towards those people who were judgmental. So I've let go of that. And I realize that those people who stand so strong and have to scream and yell about what their beliefs are, that's okay. That's their belief. And my not feeling the need to do that doesn't make me any better than they are. Um, I'm I've lost my train of thought, but
You're good. You're good.
I'm becoming more and more comfortable in just being who I am instead of worrying about being the right person for everyone, where that was what I thought I used to need to be.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had to nod in agreement with things even when I didn't, because I needed people to feel safe and comfortable around me, because I don't remember if Kylie or was it Susan? Oh, Susan said about the light. I always knew that I was light, even before I knew what that meant. And when I learned what it meant, then I felt that that was something that I shouldn't say that I am, because that's almost like saying, oh, I'm God, which I don't believe. But now that I know that if we allow ourselves to feel and know we are the light, then we can bring the light, whether it is God or spirit. You all know what I mean. I don't preach any religion, or though, but if I want to bring in more light, then I have to show mine. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not saying, hey, look at me. Just by being who I am and being comfortable but humble, then it's okay to feel that within me.
Yeah. Oh, wow. You said a lot. Um, yeah, because, um, again, I'm grasping at straws, and I'll hand it over to Susan. Maybe she can help us, and Kylie. Um, so there's like this affirmation. Um, oh my God, I was right. This was accurate. My intuition was accurate. My feeling was accurate. And at the same time, in the contrast of it, as we look at those things we were right about that were, uh, I guess you would say, taking our power inordinately, um, we're able to, the humility outweighs the I told you so. You know what I mean? It's like, holy shift. We actually got here. We're here. Look at where we came from. So what? They still have chemtrail. We still have chemtrails, fluoride, GMO. We've overcome it all. We're more and more impervious. We're more and more powerful. And I feel, and I should say this openly, I've been on X for a few weeks, and we're broadcasting on X, and I don't know anything about it, but it's interesting watching that news feed versus the Facebook and the years that we've gone through, and YouTube, even the material there. And what amazes me is there's so many different narratives and causes and movements and, you know, stars people want to hang their hat on. And yet I still see and I still feel that this is the most powerful place we can come, is to lay it on the line and say, I don't know why I'm here, but I know I have to be here. I don't have anything to say, oh, who am I that God would know my name, right? Um, but I feel we're supposed to be. And it doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't pay X dollars a week. You know what I mean? It's just like, we go to this space, find a way to get there, and listen to the reflections in a conscious way. You know, as we become the same consciousness, you could put it in those terms. So, Susan, I know you on a very personal level, and far better than most people. You're extraordinary. Um, and I know, like I said earlier, that I've seen you as you've seen me, and we've seen each other through this evolution of the last few years. What are your dreams now? Do you have any dreams? Is there something you want? Do you feel like you can get it? When it's all said and done, well, how would you like to spend the rest of this incarnation before we go into the next dimensional shift, multi-dimensional shift, next life? Here, let's unmute you.
Yeah, I don't have, and that's another thing that's bothering me is like there's nothing I want to do or that seems worth investing in. Um, because I don't think I can imagine how it's going to go.
Hmm.
My dad said was in your lifetime, you will see everything you came here to see. He said that to me and my mom and my sister. My mom will be 100 next week. So might fly and go see mom. Um, because I don't know, I'll see it, whatever it is, but I don't think anything I know from the past is going to define it. So yeah, and that's depressing me because I would like to have something I'd like to go out and do and get excited about, and I'm going, but yeah, that ain't going to be it. So, oh no, I don't know. Yeah, I don't have a picture.
Um, well, I think that that is the picture. Um, yeah, I think that's real. I mean, how many of us have said, what was I talking about? Why did I come into this room? What am I supposed to do today? Um, but Kylie, you want to take it from there? I'm going to mute you, Susan, and we'll come back. Um, can you relate to that? Is there a part of your brain that shuts down, or you know what I mean? Like, are you feeling some of that? Because I hear a lot of people talk about it. Let's unmute you. There you go.
Hello, unmuted again. Yeah, I'm totally with Susan. My mother actually come through to me in 2012. I actually saw and spoke to her for the first time since she passed. That was like 20 something years after. But her message to me in 2014 was, I'm seeing everything through your eyes. That meant so much
Mm,
to me. Um, the way that we are seeing and perceiving things so differently, opening ourselves up to it is brave.
yeah,
It's really brave.
yeah,
Um,
I feel that.
the unknowns, I mean, they can be frightening to some. Um,
To
I
all of
think when,
us. I
yeah, well,
don't
that
think
too.
there's
I mean,
anybody that's, you know,
no, well, I'm not feeling the fear as much as what I used to.
I don't,
Um,
yeah, I get that about the fear thing. But
mm,
it's almost like when you jump into a pool or a cool river or lake, or you're going to get a shot from the doctor. You know what I mean? It's like when you get to
mm,
the other side and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, this is
mm,
cold, but
mm,
it's not
mm.
killing me, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah, I
yeah.
can see that.
It's definitely that. Um, yeah, the people pleasing and things that all fell away for
Yeah,
me. I
yeah,
mean, that was a huge part of my like
yeah,
childhood and early adulthood. But that fell away with a lot of work, a lot of inner work. Um, it was something that my friend said to me that just clicked one day and said, if you can't do it for yourself, who else can you do it for? Or who
yeah,
else is going to do it for you?
yeah, exactly.
To
Nobody.
change the perspective or to change the mindset or to change practically anything.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, the bursts of energy that have been hitting us just recently, like or just in the last week, I totally agree. They have been bigger than anything else.
yeah,
And the more and more that it is coming in, um, yeah, I don't know, we either close ourselves down a certain level
mm,
because of all that physical that we feel, like the pains and the emotions that do get stirred up. Um, yeah,
yeah,
but at the same time, you sort of want to share it so that other
it's,
people are
yeah.
understanding. you
It's a
know,
mixed,
things about what
yeah,
they might feel.
it's a mixed bag. I mean,
It is.
because our human is
Mm,
going views, uh, bigger platforms, bigger names, you know, what's everybody reading, what's everybody listening to. But as we go down the rabbit holes, as we, so to speak,
mm,
it all comes back to the same thing. It's
hmm.
like this louder and louder, endless mind chatter that just gets faster and faster until we go, why the fuck am I looking at this? Like, why am I look at it like this a lot of times over the years. I would tell myself, you know, in terms of like, where are you putting your energy? Where are
That's
you
it.
putting your energy through all this stuff that's happening? Because nobody is on their square all the time. There's no way.
Hmm.
I mean, it's getting better and better. Don't get me wrong, but look, we've been, and the more we can handle, the more we get. So it's this crazy, equation. But I would
How
tell
many?
myself, I would
I
tell
was going.
myself, when the plug gets pulled, where will you be? Because the only thing that matters is where my attention is at that moment.
Exactly.
So if I'm out there or back there or externally participating in, you know, by subjugating my presence with myself, how do I know or not know that that's not the very place I'm going to pick up on as I get into the next costume or car or whatever, right?
Hmm.
So, you know, and again, it all seems to be coming back to the same thing, which is, you know, what do you want to do? Where do you want to be? Metaphorically and literally, who do you want to be with? How do you marry it all together?
That's it.
And you know what I mean? Well, I mean, it is, but how do we do it? I think the only thing we know is to show up and attempt to do it. And
Taking step by step.
yeah,
Mm,
like even something like this gathering today, I feel like at a minimum, the potential of it is far greater than any um, global movement, so to speak, that would
mm.
make every headline, that would make every internet platform. Maybe I'm wrong, but
Well, apart from all of this, seeing and following you guys online for so long, I've totally cut out all media. I don't. I wouldn't even know what half of the stuff is going on in the world. Um, I've found and been perplexed by how quiet my mind has been.
mm,
Like all that monkey chatter that used to be there that
mm,
actually made me so physically sick in the end. Um, I just got to that place where it was like, I've got to just close it down.
yeah,
And over so many years, it's like it's all just been, I don't know, leveled out or
it's
quietened. It's been quietened. It's been hushed.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Good segue. Good
Mm.
segue. Let's go to Bridget one more time, then come back to you.
Mm.
Unless we have any late comers.
I was going to say to you, where did Rick go? He had to go.
Yeah, so did Susan. But I mean,
Yeah.
We have one
the
latecomer.
energy, like to me, the energy of this transmission, this broadcast, whatever you want to call it, has been extremely high. I can feel
Mm.
it from almost like 5-10 minutes into it, even when I was by myself. But and I think that speaks to the characteristics of the energy that's bigger than all of us. That's
Mm.
that's catalyzing us and providing this good friction for us to keep on going. And like we said earlier, it's like the more you can handle, the more you get. But at the same
Yep.
time, you can handle it better, and then the more you get. It's
Well, I was gonna say it's bigger than any human word could possibly
oh
describe.
yeah, there's no question. There's no question. The
There's
only quote
yeah, it's what is
this
it? Infallible. There's just nothing that we can say
yeah,
that even gets
yeah,
close. Mm.
yeah. All right, I'm going to come back to you, back to
Hmm.
Bridget one more time. Okay. Uh, okay, Bridget's on. Bridget,
You
So,
said something that really,
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
before the segue, you said something that really resonated with me. And you said, where do you want to be when the plug is pulled? And I thought, what a great thing to focus on. And I feel like that's already what I've been doing. And there's so much that is not within our control outside of us in the 3D world, that as long as I can focus on what I wish it were to be. If the plug is pulled, my brain is already there in the what I wish it were to be. If they stick that plug back in, please no, then I'm going to try to stay there all the time. So after commercial break, I'll be where I would like to be. So
It's like a pit stop.
yes, exactly.
Let me ask you this without trying to sound like super cool, philosophical, you know what I mean? Um, but in a way to kind of address something almost like a blanket approach, because death, especially since 2020, right, has been thrown in our face like never before.
Mhm.
Mortality, and I've heard and seen people writing about it and talking about it in the last couple of weeks in particular. What is what does that mean to you now at this point in the game, regardless of where you were, where you came from right now today as you sit here with us? What does it mean when you hear the word die or death? What's your relationship with that?
Well, for myself, I haven't had a fear of that for many years, because I, thank goodness, live a comfortable, healthy life here. So I'm fine here, but I know that this is the shortest period of my soul's life plan. So I'm fine to leave. I have no fear of it. The only fear of death I have is for those I love,
Right.
to lose, and that's it from the ego. I would hate to lose my husband or my children.
Right.
But I myself have no fear. And if for some reason someone I love dearly were to pass on, I'm not afraid for them either. I just don't want to be here without them.
Right. I got you. Wow. That's a really, you know what I loved about your answer? And we've all gone there because that's all we've known, which is even more of a reason to have these conversations. But to say to the question of death, I'm good with it. But we act like it can't live simultaneously. I'm good with it. But if somebody close to me passed, I would feel it very, very much in my heart and my soul. And maybe that's another pair of polarities merging and collapsing together. I don't know, but there's something about what you said in that answer that absolutely recognizes and honors and reveres the human aspect equally to the soul. And I,
About that. My husband is probably going to come home soon, and he doesn't. I don't talk a lot about this stuff with him, although he knows that I do it. So of
well,
course now,
let's get you and your husband on together. Hit me up when y'all can do that.
yeah, give me a few years, but
Well, thank you for coming in. We don't want you to get busted. So thank you
oh no,
so
it's okay.
much.
It's okay, but it's dark out here, so it's
I
turning a
got you. I
little
got you.
on for him. But I
Let's go
I
back to
I appreciate this. Thank you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Sit tight if you want to.
I will.
And thank you so much. Kylie, I don't know if you have any last comments, maybe a little something to kind of chew on would be, um, if you look at regardless of everything we've all been through, and for however period of time, there's something we can all relate to. There's a commonality to it right up to this point in this present moment. How would you, no right or wrong answer, how would you rate your anxiety, nervousness, fears, worries, today versus even 3, 4, or 5 months ago? Have you seen more calm and relaxation coming in and balance for yourself?
Yeah, I was going to say the anxiety that I felt, I don't know, even up until a year or so ago. I mean, that comes in and out. I find that the anxieties that do pop up is usually connected with an energy bringing something up to the surface. But the calmness, the peace, the freedom in the mind is really fascinating to me. Like, it's been such an alien concept because I've always put other people first. So I was always thinking about how to help people and to, put everyone else first. And um, once I got to that stage where I knew that so much work had to be done within myself, uh, to get me to that quieter place, it's taken so much time, even though time doesn't feel the same now. Like, we are already into February. Like, we only just started the year. Like, how crazy is that? Yeah, it's like a blink of an eye and it's, we'll be in December.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, when you were talking about where you want to be if someone unplugged it, which it can't happen, like, it won't happen.
Well, I'm just
But
saying as a point of
yeah,
reference to keep me in
yeah,
check of leaving the reservation or taking myself too seriously or
mm,
yeah, just
that,
like
that's it.
yeah,
That's it though.
yeah, yeah,
With so much, when there's so much involved, whether it be emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, we've always got something that we're dealing with.
yeah.
So it's never actually quiet. But at the same time, when you get to that peace, um, somehow it seems easier to deal with.
Yeah.
I'm not
Maybe
even sure. I'm not even sure how to explain that properly, but
no, I get it. I think what you're saying is when we do make a statement or speak
mm,
and act, there's less to unravel
mm,
because we're more genuine, not to
mm,
judge anything from our past, but as more as a description or attribute of the expanding atmosphere, you might say.
mm-hmm.
It's a
It's
different
like a check.
world. Yeah, it's a different
Yeah,
world. And
it's like a checkpoint.
yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah,
seeing. Yeah.
but yeah, like imagine, I don't know how I would put this, but like imagine living in a space where everything works the way it's supposed to.
Mm,
Um, where there's a clear relationship between cause and effect,
mm-hmm,
and then to understand or to reflect on um, the way it didn't work from where we came from.
mm-hmm.
There was always something like, oh my God, what the hell? Like this again, and so to me, it feels like there's a bit of a change there. Um,
Yeah.
Listen, I really appreciate y'all coming in.
Mm-hmm,
I really, really do. I want you to know that I consider this a very sacred space. I'm less embarrassed now than I was when I started a couple of hours ago. Uh, I'll keep coming back to the till, uh, and I as we, because Morgan and I are one and the same, one voice. So I feel like that, what you guys talked about and how I'm feeling are all the same thing, which is I feel like we're back where we were doing the same thing that we were doing to bring awareness to everything going on, let's say from 2012 and so on. So
Oh, yeah.
we want to serve.
Yep.
We want to be able to work that equilibrium. So all the support, love, contributions that have been sent over the years were just as much a part of this as any of us, me included. And the
Yep.
same is now. We're in this space where we don't know what the hell's going on. We're both in a country that we've never lived in. Yet it's reflective of everything that y'all brought to the table today and what's going on for all of us. So thank you very much, both of you. Thank you, everybody, for your love and support and contributions. And we're going to keep going down this road in a spontaneous manner. And I had no idea I was going to do this today, and I'm so happy I did. So I wish you both the best blessings of grace to you and your families. And I will see you when we do this again. Don't be shy.
Thank you so
Thank-
much, Todd. Now that I've got over the nerves, I'll try and pop on a bit more. But
Well, you both should do your own lives. Just come on and start talking. All right, take care.
Thank
And
you.
Bridget, let me know when you and your husband want to come on together.
Okay.